Welcome back to another episode of Top 10 Cards. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my interactions with the late Kobe Bryant. I have quite a few. I have more interactions with Kobe than I do any other athlete, and I'm going to share those with you next. A little preface, after Jordan retired, I was a full-blown Kobe fan. Wore Kobe's jersey so much that, my nickname was Kobe by some people. It was very easy to like the Lakers. You had Horace Grant, you had Ron Harper, you had Dennis Rodman at one point, you had Phil Jackson, Tex Winter. So this was pretty much like the Bulls Part 2. Interaction number 1 was they used to have a MVP website for athletes where each athlete had their own fan page, and at one point you could submit questions for them to answer. I submitted one and sent it off, forgot about it, revisited the website a couple weeks later, and sure enough, Kobe Bryant answered my question. I asked Kobe why him and Shaq didn't seem to get along, and he responded that they were different players and kind of gave this whole PC type of answer. But really cool to have my favorite player interact back with me online. And that was my first kind of exposure and interaction with Kobe. Every year after Jordan retired, I'd go see the Bulls play the Lakers. The first time I went was in year 2000. Kobe was injured, he was in a suit, I didn't have much interaction there. The second time, they had already won the championship. Kobe Bryant was one of the top athletes in sports. The hype behind the Lakers, they were the hottest ticket in town. So back then in the United Center, when the gates opened, you could go down to where the players come out of the tunnel, even if you didn't have a seat. We didn't have a whole lot of money. I had upper deck seats, but before the game you could go down there. So I was wedged right in the corner, and realistically, I didn't expect to see Kobe up front. I had many experiences before where you go down trying to get an auto or something, and none of the big name players come out. It's all bench players and other reserve players. So about midway into shoot around, you start to hear like a buzz, and I can kind of see through the tunnel. I can't see too far back, but I can see, maybe 10 feet back in the tunnel, I see, this figure walking out with a couple other people next to him. And I see these people who are closer to the tunnel starting to yell, and a bunch of cameras started to go off, and all of a sudden there was all this buzz. And you see Kobe Bryant walking out, he had his fro, all the fans were chanting his name, and it was this huge electric buzz in the stadium with Kobe coming out. I couldn't believe it. So everyone was kind of reaching over. He was walking out. It all happened so fast, trying to get an auto. And I stuck out my hand, and he gave me a high five. And he smiled, and he said, "I'll be back." And I'm thinking, yeah, right. It was cool I got to be that close to him. He's probably going to leave the other tunnel or not come back. I've heard athletes say stuff like that before and not fulfill what they say. So I'm just on cloud nine. I got to get a high five from Kobe. And so warm-ups end. And the players start to file back in the tunnel. Kobe's still out there, and then Kobe starts to walk back, and then probably 6-7 feet to the right of me, he starts to sign. And there's this gated area where some of the fans with floor seats could stand, and he started to sign for them. And I'm like, oh no, is he not going to sign for us too? So I had a Kobe swingman jersey. The swingman jersey looks like an authentic jersey, and it was kind of the cool thing at the time, where you had the letters on there that looked like an authentic jersey, but you didn't quite have to pay the premium of an authentic jersey, and it was better than the screen printed jerseys. So I had one of those. I took it off, and I'm just praying that Kobe's going to sign my jersey. And I leaned all the way over that railing for him to come by. Kobe took my blue Sharpie, and he signed it right on the 8. He signed that sweet Kobe signature. I think I said some things to him. I don't recall what I say. I don't think he smiled, may have said thank you. I don't really remember, but he was in such a good mood that day. And after he went to the left of me, he signed for so many people, and it was super nice. And I remember someone threw a ball down because they couldn't get close to Kobe. He caught it, signed it, threw it back up. It was just a really cool experience, and he signed for so many people. And this was Kobe Bryant, the elite Kobe Bryant back in the day, probably one of the hottest athletes at the time in all sports. And he was right there, and I had my camera out. I was getting so many pictures. He had his Kobe 2s on, those ugly Kobe 2s. I remember looking down at his feet and seeing those, the white, yellow, and purple colorway of his Kobe 2s, and just kind of seeing that up front. I was just completely overjoyed. And that's probably one of my favorite memories growing up, was that interaction with my favorite athlete. I had never had that type of interaction before. So after he signed my jersey, I was like in a panic mode. I have my most prized possession in the world, and a signed jersey in my bag. Like, I don't even want to stay at this game. I want to get out of here and go frame it. It was an interesting game. That was the game that Shaq got into the fight with Brad Miller, and a bunch of people got thrown out. The game came down to the wire, and Kobe missed the game-winning shot, and he was just as nice as can be. So really a magical moment and experience. Never thought I'd get to have anything like that again. So that was in 2001. Another interaction I had with Kobe, he was warming up one time, and I don't remember at what point in the timeline this was, but I was on the bottom floor at the United Center. But he was warming up, and he was shooting free throws, and this was past the Colorado days where he lost a lot of fans. I had the original Kobe Bryant champion rookie jersey on from his rookie year, and it wasn't cool back then to wear old jerseys like that. And Kobe, I was waving over to him, and there was no one in my seating section at all. And he looks over, he paused for a second, he saw me. I think he recognized my jersey looking back and just saw that, hey, I was a true fan. And he gave me a head nod like that, and then went back to shooting. Really cool moment. So that was interaction number 3. Interaction number 4, this was in 2004. They had already, three-peated at this point. He was an established legend of the game, 3-time NBA champion. This was the post-Colorado incident, so Kobe had lost a lot of fans, and doors open. I went right back down to that same spot. Realistically, did I think I was going to have that same interaction again? No. So much so that I didn't really prepare for it. I had so many other things. I always wanted to get a ball signed by Kobe, but realistically, it just was not going to happen. It was a big pain to bring a ball to the game. But I had an 8x10 photo. It's pretty transportable, and that was a just-in-case type of thing. I had no expectation of seeing Kobe again. So I'm in that same spot, and sure enough, Kobe Bryant comes out of the tunnel again. This is in 2004. I get another high five from Kobe. He warms up, he comes back, and he signs for everybody. I got my 8x10 photo signed by Kobe. He did it, the Kobe 8 signature, my favorite kind. He signed my dad's ticket, and once again, he signed for everybody. He was a little bit more reserved at this point, given the timeline of history, but he made sure that all of his fans were taken care of, and it was such a cool interaction. So, looking back at the timeline of events, it was such a special, time to get to do that, to be that close next to Kobe, to have so many interactions with him, and to this day, I've had more interaction with Kobe than I had with any other athlete, and he was my favorite player. So, definitely a special experience for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. So please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and there will be more to come.
A minute to play. Bryant for the lead.